I've been without my own website for a while now, and I once in a while I like to write a blog post, but I wanted to do it on my own website. So I was looking for a theme, but I really like the Medium theme, so that's where I blog later. I created a few blogs um, lately, but so I was looking for a theme that looked a little bit like that, and then I found this one. It's free, it's open source, anyone can use it. So what I did, I created a Orchard theme, so I could use it for my own website, but I created it generically so that others can use it as well if they like. So I also created a recipe to get started quickly. So so what we're looking at right now, that's the just the HTML template that's available for everyone, and I created a repo containing my website that hosts this theme. So it's not its own repository yet. I'm still working on that, but it has a couple of interesting features. Basic features, but it was interesting to implement it with Orchard and with using the Liquid templates and extending things like users. So I want to show a couple of those things. So first, what I will do is show you the recipe. It's called Medium. Maybe I should rename it Medium-ish because it's not exactly medium. But let's say you want to create your own blog using this recipe. And wait for this to complete. And there you go. Now you have a blogging application based on the Medium theme. It's very simple still. It consists, of course, of blog posts. No comments yet. That's on the roadmap. But it has, of course, blog posts. It's associated with owners. I extended the user with a couple of settings that I will show in a second. And it has tags, and all of these things work. So these are tagged with Orchard. Search has been implemented using Lucene. So there's a lot of those little things that I wasn't too familiar with, but I have to say it was really, really cool what I found with what you can do with Orchard and with the liquid filters and that sort of thing.
And you didn't ask questions on Gitter or Pingdus or Plasma or whoever owns these features?
I didn't have to, but I did look a lot at the Orchard core source code to figure out how certain things work, especially when it came to extending Liquid with my custom filters. For example, this 1 minute read here, I had to implement my own filter for that. So, and initially I started doing this as part of the Medium theme here, but I noticed certain things wouldn't work, and I think something with shapes didn't immediately work. That might be a bug, but it did work. When using a custom module, I don't recall the details, but when I do, I will create an issue for that, because maybe it's a bug or maybe it's by design. I'm not sure. But yeah, for example, I have here a couple of filters.
We don't see anything. You have to zoom.
Oh, I can't zoom this thing here. Oh,
what is that? Is that code or is Sublime?
This one? Wait,
no control.
Let me fix this. No, there's no control zoom. This is Rider. It's not. I don't know if it works in.
You don't have zoom. VS Code has zoom. You should use VS Code.
For this it does.
For anything, yeah. Okay, good. Thank you.
Oh, I thought you were referring to this.
Well, at least the thing if you are showing some code.
Yeah. For example, the read time filter. That's a liquid filter, and of course, it just uses a very simple service to do this sort of thing, but it's a very powerful thing to be able to extend this sort of these templates with your logic, and you can use shapes, and then you can inject services into those shapes that then get rendered, or use filters directly if you just want to transform some value and then transform it, it's pretty awesome. So let's have a look at the detail view for a blog post. So here you see, well, this sort of things. This is of course
we don't see.
Oh, sorry. So these fields are built in, obviously. Maybe I should look at the summary, blog post summary. And then this is a card block shape, just to reuse a couple of those things.
And you made these templates as static files, not as part of the recipe that you can edit in the admin templates.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, you can overwrite these using the templates module or the templates feature. But I do have some snippets.
Okay, makes sense.
Just for the home. So this is this is content driven, or I don't know, content management, whatever you want to call it. So that means you can go to the admin. And then go to content items.
Nope. Is it?
You see it?
Yeah. I'm wondering what it will show us.
Oh, so this is a liquid page, and so this is the home page. So it uses liquid. So you can change all of this. But if you want to change the blog post detail shape, you can. But yeah, you would have to use the templating feature. Am
I the only one to think it's weird to make it in a content item instead of a template?
Yeah, so I saw that you or somebody did this for, I think, the agency.
Agency, that's how we did for the agency. Yeah, we did a template for the type that is used on the home page, but the home page itself, that we call the landing page or landing content, only had content, no design at all.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And probably I should do this. Should do that for this as well, because of course the home page should just be items. And if you look at this home page here, I would want to turn these into either little shapes or snippets or even widgets, so you can use the flow part to for a more user-friendly experience. But you have to take it easy on me. This is really my first.
I'm just wondering if there was a reason, or if I was the only one to think this way. Another way. So when we made the agency and the home template like this, like the agency, another way to do that. So we decided to model the homepage as a single content type that will have bags for team, services, all the categories or all the things that appear in the homepage. Like you have multiple sections with different types of content. Okay. Another way to do that you could follow to differentiate yourself from the agency model would be to have not everything in the same content item, but in distinct lists or content items, and then have a homepage do queries to aggregate those other content items and run them on the front page, instead of having everything the same content item like we do for the agency, which might be a simpler homepage than your homepage. I don't know.
Yeah, because then you just enumerate those content items and it doesn't care about the content types that's delegated to the individual shape templates or that correspond to the content types. I've seen that in the agency theme. And this is a little bit similar, except maybe that it's this sort of thing like containers that doesn't belong really to your content item. But in principle, it's similar in that it iterates over.
Yes. So you made
content items.
So what's the type of this content item?
This is all. So this content item that we're looking at is a liquid page.
Liquid page. I was about to say that. Maybe, yeah. Okay. So that's almost like I was suggesting. So you don't do a template, it's a liquid page. That makes sense. And you have different content items, different content types, and different lists also for all your things. And then I totally agree with how you did that. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, of course, in this example, I only have blog and blog posts, and that's what we're seeing here. It's just using a query liquid filter, or this filter here to query a featured blog posts query that I defined here. And this is a really nice feature, these queries. That's so easy to create a bunch of them. So what I did, so we have a query for featured blog posts.
Wait. Have you seen that you can do that also in Lucene? And then Jasmine can say you're welcome also.
Yeah, you can run it, you mean, and then you can, well, you can.
Oh, this is liquid. Here. Okay, so I didn't say anything. I kind of, but not.
There's one thing that I would like to show as well. It's the user blog post. So if you go to the front end and you click on the author.
Oh, because it's a taxonomy, or what? How did you model that?
So what I did here is create a query called user blog post, and it looks like this.
What about what you're about to show is what I tell everyone who want to assign authors to content items like articles or blog posts, and at first try to map a user with that, a user account. And I think it's wrong. I think you should have a different content item or a taxonomy to represent that. And so you can add custom metadata. Now I want to see what you did, but I think you didn't do the way I suggest.
So that's the beauty of Orchard Core, I must say. You have these options, and I chose to associate this metadata to my own user account. So what I did is I extended the user with an author model, and then I can enter all sorts of metadata that I think I need for my role as an author, as a blog author, or as a blogger. And then I can say what I am, and I can tell something interesting about myself, and some social. And of course, I what you're saying, it could be a separate content item, and then I can associate it using taxonomies. I could associate those authors with posts, and that would work as well.
So you
it's
wrote
a choice
code.
I made. What's that?
You wrote some code.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of the.
You had to write a driver.
Exactly. That's it.
So that
I have an author display driver.
Opens two discussions here. First is that if you had created a content type called author, it would have been everything dynamic, okay? And then you could have said the owner of this author is the actual user account, maybe if you want to assign it to a user account, but I'm not even sure you actually require a user account. Why you would prefer to have a content item to represent an author is that, well, it depends how you model that in your blog post, but usually then in this way, when you have a blog post, you can have a field based on taxonomies or another content item picker that filters on author. And then anyone can create a blog post and tell the author is Sipke, because that's what happens sometimes in companies. Or someone will write a blog post for someone else, but like I'm the content manager, but this is whoever Sipke wrote the blog post and sent it to me as Word, and I want to show that with his own picture and everything, and I don't want to access his account.
Yeah, and that makes sense, and then you don't have to create a user account for that person.
But in this case, maybe what we might need is a user picker. So we could still assign an author content item with a default user account, but we don't have a user picker, and I think we missed that. And there might be an issue already for that. And the second issue that you are showing here is that if you want to add profile information to a user account, it's hard. You have to write some code. What we need is the same way we did for custom settings. We should have user settings or user profile stereotype. So these stereotypes, like custom settings, will be added in tabs or as sections for each user to be able to write custom code with custom content without custom code.
Yeah.
So that's your next idea. Okay, if you have nothing to do next week, instead of writing a new theme, you can do that. User settings.
Yeah, I just might, because I don't like that this is hard-coded. This is very opinionated and just here for my use case. But I
And
want
if
to.
you look at custom settings, you will see how easy it is to do. And if you need help, Dean will help you.
Well, speaking of which, the custom settings, I use that as well, because another property of the website is this little logo, and you can change that using settings. Oh, I forgot to make it part of my recipe, so I don't know if I even have the content type here. It's not showing up. I forgot to include it as part of the recipe, but I actually use that functionality, custom settings, and it's really nice. You just define a custom type here, give it the custom settings stereotype, and then it shows up. And it's beautiful. So that's a nice way to make your theme configurable. So if you have that sort of properties like little logos and maybe something you want to change in the footer, if it's not a template that you can override. But yeah, thanks for the ideas of the author. That makes a lot of sense. For now, it's associated with the with my user, and of course, every content item has an owner. So I'm using that to load the user, and that's for that I have another little filter called user filter, which takes as an input a username, and then it loads that by the name and returns the user as an object. So I can then cast it to the author model and then access properties on that author, like name and other things.
I feel like someone created a PR last week with that. Antoine will tell me.
So another thing that we need is, I think, is the maybe I have it here. No. I think we need a blank filter in any case, so we can see if text is null or white space. So we can, otherwise it becomes.
There is one. It's called it's in liquid. It's not a filter. It's called is empty.
Oh,
okay. It exists in liquid natively.
And it uses something similar to null or white space, not just empty. No. Okay.
I see what you mean. But there is also trim, so you can do trim, and I'm sure there is in liquid already that.
Okay. I couldn't find it, but I'll have another look then. Oh yeah, though there's this something to do with route. I'm trying to route liquid handler. Yeah, so we need this as well. Because what I'm using here, that's what I wanted to show as well, is the query here for user blog post. As you can see, I'm dynamically setting up this query based on the username route. So I created custom code here it's an author controller, so that I can get the user by a username and return an author view model, which I use for the author page. And
dude, Dean will tell you. Dean, do you want to tell him? No, Dean doesn't.
It's all good. You tell him. I was hoping he might do my custom settings demo for me, but he skipped over it.
Also that, and so what we designed a few weeks ago, you were not there. Well, it was during a triage, but then we talked during a meeting. We want to create, and that you can do SIPCO next week also. You have so many things to do next week based on our feedback. Thank you very much. We wanted to do a custom content type that you could define custom routes in the auto route. It's like a meta auto route. So the idea is that you will create a content type and you will say the dynamic route is /users /curly brace username. Okay, or /blog post /users /curly brace username. And then by doing that, we will register a custom handler, an endpoint or whatever, that will bind the endpoint with your route to your content item. And this content item will have a liquid template. This way, you can intercept whenever someone does /blog /SIPCO. It will call your content item, which will have a liquid template, which will do the query based on the current route.username username like you did. Okay, and then you can do the query and render whatever you want with that. So yeah, that's something we already designed. But and this way you won't have to make an action, a controller action, because we can do that dynamically. That's super easy and same perf and everything. It will just be a content item, a content routable item, routable content item with custom route parameters that you would write in the content item settings. Well, no, in the content item properties, you could say /blog/username in curly brace. Done.
So it's not an auto route, but it's like a dynamic route.
Dynamic route, yes. Content routable, something like that.
Yeah, kind of a template route. So the first section is kind of fixed, and then you'd be able to define templates on it, which would just pass through to your liquid views.
And it's designed.
It will be a great PR. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Next
I think the original idea was also around being able to have a route like /the year and then the month, so that we could
for archives. Yeah,
so we could do it for archives.
Because we are talking about taxonomies and how to route taxonomies, and this is when Dean wrote the PR to have routable taxonomies and terms and everything. So you can list, and I assume that's what you are using for tags. When you go to the tags URL, it's actually using what did from that. And we extended the discussion to support, to see how we could have custom routes and custom route values inside your liquid templates. So that's the next evolution. And that would be super great. It's like Razor Pages, but dynamic and in liquid. It will be beautiful. And it's not that hard, but that opens so much possibilities without coding. So
yeah, I mean, it's basically an attribute route in liquid.
Yeah. I'd definitely be interested in looking into that, because this is another thing that it's nice that we can create custom code like this for controllers, but the less code we have to write, the better. All right, yeah, that's cool. So then you also understand what I'm doing here. This has to do with the liquid filter, so that I can access the route, which is currently not exposed, out of the box at least. And now I can access the username, which corresponds, of course, to this action parameter here.
And I see a security vulnerability here because you are using user entered data, because I can say /index/whatever, and you will do a query on that. But fortunately, it should be encoded inside a JSON, so you should be safe.
Yeah, so.
But what you are identifying here is whether the user exists or not.
Yes. Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good point.
But
that's another reason to use
that's
other
model you can accept.
Yeah.
If you had an author content item, it will not be an issue, because
exactly. Yeah.
you will not expose your usernames.
Yeah.
I do think we need that user picker though, because a lot of people are trying to tie up stuff on user properties that shouldn't be there.
This next week also, Sikosen.
I didn't say next week, but it's a thing that I will look into. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything. So I showed a couple of things here. Didn't show the custom settings, but you are aware of that, of course. Search works. Yeah. So a couple of things I still want to add to this theme is comments functionality. I don't believe there's anyone working on comments.
No, it has been asked. It has been asked. There is some.
Yeah, and the answer was that use the discuss feature. I think Antoine created a module for that.
He did.
Okay. Yeah, I used it on a website last week, and it's actually really good.
Would you recommend it over providing an out-of-box comments module?
We will need out-of-the-box comments module at some point, because some people want to own their data, and also in terms of cookies and everything, this case adds lots of cookies. You might not want that, and sometimes you want custom features, custom stuff that is integrated in your design, in your app. So there is a request.
Yeah, and there was a limitation on what I could do with Discuss that you know, we wanted to feature and it wasn't there. But it is a great little module.
All right, good.
There is an issue file already with some preliminary design on that, so please read it if you want to work on that. But after the two other ones we told you.
Right. So in this order, like so. All right. Yeah, definitely, because that's one of the next things I wanted to work on. Comments. Forms, of course, is an existing module that I want to be able to
Thank you, Sipke.
theme users to use. You're welcome. And yeah, that's something I want to add to the theme. And by the way, if I didn't mention it already, this theme, it's there on GitHub. I'm going to put it in its own repo so anyone can use it. And ideally, it wouldn't have any dependencies on custom modules like these two here. This is a Gravito module that I do intend to publish as well, so that people can use it. And this Medium theme relies on it, but I'm going to see if I can make it optional, which probably I can if I refactor the fact that authors are users. Then it's just becomes a content item, and then anything can happen.
And Jasmine also mentioned the issue with usernames is that you can change your username, so you will lose the reference. Or, well, that's also an issue with how we reference usernames, but that's a different issue we already find. And also if you want to delete the user account completely and not lose any historical data.
That's true. See? I didn't think of that. Yeah, I wouldn't want to lose the blog post if I deleted the owner of that of those blog posts. And another thing is tag cloud that I would like to have as an option for this.
Big topic also. It was a big topic in Orchard 1. There is a custom feature for that in Orchard 1 because it uses k-mean clustering. I don't remember the algorithm to have weighted tags clouds.
So is there anything on the roadmap for Orchard Core?
Nope, nothing. Do whatever you want with that, and it's related to taxonomy, so it can be used then to any taxonomy. That's great. That would be great to have a widget for that, or exactly. Shape or whatever. I don't know how to.
Would it make sense to do it like that? Do it similar as it was in Orchard 1?
We need to talk about it because maybe you just want a query to list the things and that's it. Maybe you want to have a weighted solution, and then you can't do it with a query. You need to have some code. Maybe it's a shape. Maybe it's a widget. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just an API. Maybe it's a liquid filter. We need to talk about all the things you could do with a tag cloud and how you want to use it. Like you don't have an archive page either for the blog post. Maybe that's something we could help on that. That will be related to the tag cloud also, because it's the same kind of little nifty solutions we want to provide. And yeah, we had that in Orchard 1. Archive widget, tag cloud widget, stuff like this.
Yeah, good.
Archive. All right. That's perfect. Awesome. Thank you very much, Sipke. Very good work. Very good demo.
Thank you. One more thing I do want to add, if we have a minute, is that I'm a big fan of Pulumi, and of course I created a Pulumi project that automatically instantiates an Azure App Service Plan and all the stuff, so that the Azure resources get created automatically. And I did it such that it pushes the secrets necessary for GitHub Actions to be able to access the Azure registry. Unfortunately, it's a little bit late, so I won't demo that here. But last time I demoed Pulumi, it didn't work completely, but now I got it to work from beginning to end. So maybe some other time, or if anyone is interested in knowing more about how that works, just let me know. I'm happy to show and tell.
He will steal your scripts and show it in his workshop.
Yeah, I would recommend it. Let me know if I can explain anything. It's also part of this repository here, so yeah, you can just take it.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.